Hello there. I hope you're doing well. I'm just having a cup of dandelion tea here, dandelion root tea. This is another shit yarns with Josh. Might be a good one. This one might be shit. It's just going out to the people that have reached out, well, to everyone really who wants to watch it, but mainly the people who have reached out, and I've had a few of those recently, and asked me how I made it through the valley of darkness and came out the other end. People who are struggling in their life at the moment and are a bit fed up and have almost had enough, almost about ready to throw the towel in. There seems to be more and more people these days. So if you aren't interested in hearing my 10 cents worth on that, then this video isn't for you. But if you are, keep watching. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a psychologist or a counselor. Really, if you're about to, pop a cap in a hammer, you probably need to go see you definitely do need to go see a counselor or a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, whoever those people are. Counselling's a good place to start, and if you're absolutely batshit crazy, they'll refer you to the people that need to help you, or that you need to help you. So take my advice with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional. I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks that have helped me overcome my adversities of late. Going through divorce, losing my home, having a business go dead in the water because of COVID, basically having my turnover slashed, and just a whole bunch of things. The weight of the world was on my shoulders. I also had to deal with complex PTSD from my childhood trauma. And if you are having a rough time, there's a really good chance childhood trauma is a contributing factor with your personal relationships and relationships with family, loved ones, your partner, and friends. A huge spanner in the works. I had no idea. I thought I was just normal, but it turns out I was not normal, and my reactions and the way that I was behaving, my behavior, needed sorting out. Unfortunately, it took the divorce to force me into changing, and I'm still changing and growing, and it's an ongoing process. I don't think it stops. Anyway, spanners. I'm going to talk about spanners in the works. So, the documentary Stutz on Netflix, Jonah Hill's documentary about his therapist, was really good. A bunch of other books I read were also really good. And essentially, spanners in the works. There's a lot of spanners these days. There never used to be a lot of spanners in the works, but it seems there's more and more spanners getting thrown at us from left, right, and centre. And that could be a relationship, it could be work, it could be monetary problems, it could be focusing on that green grass that you feel you're not in. A lot of online comparing these days, comparing yourself to someone else's situation, and just with the price of food going up and interest rates, everything's going up. People are losing jobs. There's less work out there for the people that have jobs, for contractors and self-employed people, all the rest of it. So times are going to get tough, and problems are going to be compounding because of the tough times that are coming. Food is through the roof at the grocery stores. Rent's going up. Everything's going up. Price of gas is going up, and the average wage isn't increasing. So for your average Joe Blogs, riding a fine line with the finances, it puts a huge amount of stress on a person in relationships. So, how to deal with spanners? I like to use a metaphor that life's a bunch of circles, and the small circles is just a small spanner thrown into the works, and then a big circle is a big spanner thrown into the works. And at the top here, we're riding high. Life's a box of fluffy ducks, and at the bottom there, that's your low point when you're not feeling too good. And people, go to various. Some people take stuff real personally, and things hit them really hard. Other people don't. They just shrug it off because they've learned how to deal with it. So up the top, box of fluffy ducks. Spanner gets thrown into the works, and then thump, and this could be anything. It could be you get fired from your job, you take a pay cut, and it could be relationship failure. It could be a comment someone's left online. This is increasingly common, especially amongst our young folks. It could be road rage or something like that, or someone reflects what you're putting out there and is not very nice towards you. It could be any number of things. A spanner. It could be a loved one dying. There's always going to be a spanner thrown in works. I don't know if anyone out there lives their life without any spanners get thrown in there. And it's how we deal with it when that spanner gets thrown in the works that enables us to come back up and learn the lesson and then reach that happy point again. And a really good thing to remember is this time too shall pass. And that applies for when you're on the high rolling side of the circle, when the spanner gets thrown in the works, when you're down in the bottom in the grieving stage or the dealing with it stage, when you're down in the shit, and also when you're learning the lesson. And I really encourage people to learn lessons and not just shrug it off and say, oh, she'll be right, or whatever. Learn that lesson from shit that's happened and then get back on top, and eventually you'll be able to deal with it next time a spanner gets thrown into the work. So remember, this time too shall pass, this time too shall pass. Just be patient, give yourself time. Right, spanners. So first thing is a reaction. Action causes a reaction, and it's our reaction that usually leads to getting down to the valley of darkness and staying there and not coming back up again. So taking action is the most important thing. Take action straight away. Forgive, forget, let stuff go. It's happened. Can't change it, just got to accept it. So acceptance is really big. You've got to accept your situation, whatever it may be, and then deal with it. Take action. And with every action, there's a little bit of shit that comes along with it. It's unavoidable. There's always going to be, what's the word? Collateral damage, I guess, to a certain extent. Or just shit happens, When we do something, there's always a little bit of shit that sticks to us. So we try to keep that to a minimum. Well, I do anyway. Some people don't. So the actions you take, and the sooner you take those actions, and the impeccability, is that a word? How impeccable you are with your actions. So that means thinking about it and making sure they're the right actions to take. So don't react straight away. It's really hard to not react straight away, unless it's, of course, your life's in danger and you need to react. In any given situation, it's always best to stop, think, observe, and plan. STOP. It's a great acronym. STOP. Stop, think, observe, plan. I got that from what's that movie? Captain Fantastic. What a great movie. Stop, think, observe, plan. So when the shit hits the fan and the spanner gets thrown into the work, stop, think, observe, plan, then take action. And it's hard to do this, especially when you're a very reactive person. I'm a reactive person, so I get burnt. I go straight away instead of thinking, do I really need to go or do I need to just stop and think, I don't need to go or if I do, how loud does this need to be? I just react. I'm still working on that, and that applies to all walks of life. Whether I hurt myself or someone says something nasty, or I read an online comment or whatever, and I'm still trying to work on that and getting better slowly but surely. Now the hard thing is we don't always get a chance to practice our reaction because it just happens straight away, right? Our amygdala fires and we go into survival mode and we react. So the more you can stop and think about your reactions and what the best path to take is, because we arrive at these crossroads, right? When life presents us with challenges or spanners, there's multiple choices we can take. Sometimes there's only one or two, but the trick is to take the right path or make the right choice time and time and time again. And it's a habit thing. You've got to make it a habit of making the right choice or saying the right thing or thinking the right thought. And number one is to make sure that comes from a place of love. Really hard to, okay, what's the best and the most loving? Love conquers all. It really does. Love conquers all. If you can make everything come from a place of love, extremely hard to do sometimes, but if you practice it, then eventually you just make it a habit. 4 months, right? Be patient with yourself. So right off the bat, you need to take action, and that needs to come from a place of love. And what would future me think about this decision I'm making right now? On reflection, when I reflect back on it, and you can reflect back on past choices and past actions that you've taken and think, was that the right choice or the right action to take at that particular time, or was it not? And you can learn a lesson. And reflection's a great thing. And you can, reflect on it and think about it and run it through your head. So if the situation or scenario happens again, you can react differently. And I think this is how we become more caring people, more compassionate people, and generally better all-round people, because we can work in our reactions. I'm no bloody angel, far from it. And I've got so much shit to work on. I really have, as most people do. But whether or not you work in it dictates the outcome. Is it going to be a good outcome or a bad outcome? So things I've learned is acceptance, letting shit go, let it go. If it's happened, it's happened. Let it go. It's in the past, let it go. And it's a continual process. Every day I wake up and I've got to let shit go, and I've got to forgive every single day. And several times through the day when I get these thoughts come into my head or whatever, or when I see something or hear something, I've got to just let that shit go. Let it go. acceptance is real big. Accept it's happened, and then deal with it. Take action, and positive action, and loving action. The power of thought and the power of the spoken word is super, super powerful. White magic or black magic, I read in a really good book called The Four Agreements. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Be impeccable. Watch your words and your thoughts. And you can develop habits, right? Good thinking habits and bad thinking habits and speaking habits and all the rest of it. People who say F-bombs a lot will know what I mean. The more you say it, the more it slips off the tongue. The F-bomb, especially when you're with the boys, you'll slip back into that situation or whatever. So that could be baggage, it could be familiarity. And the more that we hear something, or the more familiar we are with something, the more we accept it and the more we believe it to be true. So this is where the thought and words, the power of the spoken word and the power of thoughts come in. And the white magic, black that magic that I mentioned before. So black magic is hate speech or self-degrading thoughts, or putting yourself down or putting other people down, criticizing. It's not a good thing to do, and the more you do it, the more black magic you put out there in the world. But positive thoughts, positive thinking, positive speaking, the more you can do that, the more white magic or good magic you put out into the world, because magic exists, there's no doubt about it. And I encourage you to do the rice test if you're a bit, what's he talking about? Get 2 jars of rice, and I haven't done it, by the way. I've just seen, I keep meaning to do it, but I haven't done it yet. I don't have any glass jars to put the rice in. I guess I'll put them in cups. I'm going to do it tonight and do the rice test, see how it goes. So just Google that. I'm not going to run you through it because I haven't done it myself. It's just hearsay, right? But apparently it works. Have a Google of the rice test and the power of the spoken word. The same guy, the same scientist, also did it with water. It's been proven water has a memory. Anyway, I'm not going to delve into that. I'm just going to go through the power of the spoken word and how important it is to think good thoughts and say good things and make it a habit. And it's tricky to do because we don't always find ourselves in that reactive situation. We will blurt out something we'll regret later. So the more you can practice it or run scenarios through your head and visualize it, and visualize doing or saying or thinking the right thing, the better you become at it. Now, if you're in the valley of darkness and you're having trouble getting out again, which a lot of people do, they get down the dumps, and it took a long time. You guys probably won't, some of you will probably know by watching me in my productions and the videos that I wasn't in a good place for a couple of years now. This has been going on. And it was wavy at first, up and down, and it was all regarding my relationship with Kristen at the time, and my complex PTSD and the way I was reacting, and I wasn't a strong, supportive, leading man like I should have been, because I had issues from my childhood, trauma issues from my mum whacking me and yelling at me, and teenage years, hanging out with gangsters and whatnot, and just a crowd of people I shouldn't have been hanging out with, but I couldn't help it because that was my given situation at the time. So, I was like, some of you might have noticed that I was down in the dumps and I'd lost my creative juices, my spark, and I just wasn't the same upbeat, positive person that I always have been. And I didn't even recognize it. I didn't see it was happening. It just slowly over the years. And a lot of it was because of people saying words to me that were really damaging in the heat of the moment. And a lot of it was my fault because I didn't make them feel that way, but I couldn't. I'm not talking about Kristen, I'm talking about lots of different people over the years. And it could be someone road raging, or an angry drunk guy, or online comments, or angry Karen, or whatever. And I'm guilty of leaving negative comments on people's videos and posts, and instead of being really encouraging and making sure that things that I say or comment on come from a place of love, and that causes a black magic to drift out there, and it does affect a person. It really does, and it just slowly beat me down over the years, and eventually I was a hollow shell of the man that I should have been or once was. And when I realised I was like that, I was like, I've got to go get help. Something's not right here. So I did. I went and saw a counsellor, therapist as well, several different ones, and got some information and some tools to deal with it. And I think the most important tool was that I can only change me. I can't change anyone else. It's up to them to change themselves. I can only work on my own shit. And that's all you can do. And acceptance was a big part of that. Okay, this has happened. I accept that I played a part in it, and what part did I play, and how can I change who I am, and so that it doesn't happen further down the track. What can I learn from this? And that documentary Stitch was massive. I watched that, and it really made me take action and take positive action. And it's a daily thing, taking action, and manifesting and visualizing good shit happening, and being super patient and letting everything go. And where was I going with that? I'm kind of gone off track a bit here. So you'll notice that I'm back to happy Josh again, and I've got my creative spark back, and I've met a wonderful lady, and I'm getting on really good with Kristen now, and my other friends, and it's just I've changed. I'm a different person because I've been slowly, and still am, patiently working on who I am and trying to make the right choices. I listened to a really good podcast today. I can't remember who it was or whatever, but it mentioned that what if you were in a situation like the Truman Show? Have you seen the Truman Show where he's got cameras and heaps of people? I think it's Jim Carrey. People watching him every single move he makes, and without realizing that they're doing it. So what would you do if you had cameras on you watching your every move, and everyone was watching exactly what you did from the moment you got up? Would you lead a different life? Would you make different choices? Would you do different things? You probably would, unless you really didn't care. You'd probably go, you'd snap into action, and you'd pick up the reins of the horse, or take the bull by the horns, or whatever it is. You definitely, your day would go differently, I guarantee it. So I thought about that. I thought, that's some really good advice. When your alarm goes off, if you use an alarm, get out of bed. Don't hit the snooze button. If you've got shit to do, get it done. Don't put it off. Structure your days. Your thoughts. If everyone knew what you were thinking at any particular time, would you think those same thoughts? So it's a really good way to lead your life, I think. Put yourself as the character in the Truman Show, especially with your thoughts. Now, if you're in the valley of darkness, you'll know that your thoughts can just, and the music you listen to, and positivity attracts positivity, negativity attracts negativity, and it can be a downward spiral. And it's simple. It can be something as simple as the music you listen to, and you might not even realize you're doing it. I got up the other day and I put on some. So it should have been playing on my mind, and I just wanted to fight fire with fire, and I got up and I was in a good mood, but I put on some punk rock and some System of a Down and some other music that was kind of a bit ragey, instead of my usual Bob Marley or happy upbeat stuff that I put on in the morning. And I believe my blood pressure probably rose, and I didn't even realize. I just wanted some fast beat music and start the day off. And then Adara noticed this, and she said, I didn't know you listened to this kind of music. I said, I used to be right into it. And I thought about that statement that I made. I used to be right into it. Now, why was I right into it? Because I was at a stage of my life where there was a lot of shit playing on my mind, and instead of processing it and working through it and figuring it out, I just vent, and that music was a way that I vented. And you guys can probably relate to this. The music you choose reflects the mood that you're in. You might play love songs or happy songs, or you got to be really careful, because repetitive lyrics in songs can lead you down a really dark path. So if someone else is inside your head and judging you, would you make those same decisions or think those same thoughts or do the same thing? And instead of ignoring that, be your own judge and kind of point the finger at yourself and go, hey, okay, what part do I have to play in this? And take ownership, I guess, and don't just put that shit off and ignore it, sweep it under the rug, deal with it. If your house is dirty, clean it. You don't have to clean the whole house right away. Start with a little corner. You guys, what it's like cleaning. You blokes will know cleaning the shed. The shed just slowly gets away on you, especially if you've got a heap of stuff and heaps of shit going, and you're really busy. Slowly but surely, stuff starts. And look at my house. It's bloody. I usually keep a real tidy house, but it's a shambles. I have been packing, but still, there's the floor hasn't been vacuumed in a couple of days, and there's crap. There's 2 logs by the fireplace. It's a bit of a shambles at the moment because I've been so busy. My shed is also a little bit of a shambles. I've been packing stuff up. So Start at the corner and slowly work your way through. That's how you tidy a real messy shed. Instead of looking at the whole job going, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. How the hell am I going to do this? Start in one little corner and just slowly work your way through it. It's the same as your life or your house, which is you, right? You can just slowly work on little bits and pieces. And the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit and you can completely change your life. Another really interesting podcast I listened to was about motivation. And if you are constantly looking to get motivated, then you're barking up the wrong tree, basically. You just need to take action. And action, well, that's motivation, right? You take action and do something instead of putting on Netflix or flicking the TV on or scrolling or getting caught up. And everyone does it. Everybody that gets caught up for a little while and down this, wormhole, down the wormhole. It's just, we can't help it because these bloody devices just lead us astray because they're listening to everything we say and taking note of what we're typing and messaging and all the rest of it, and they're continually throwing stuff in front of us. So if you're looking to be motivated, you're barking up the wrong tree. Just take action, and lots of little actions, and start in one corner and slowly work your way through the whole house. And guaranteed, the house will get clean, and then the other corner will be messy again. It's just a continuous circle of bloody tidying and sorting shit out. So if you're down in the dumps, take action. And it might seem really overwhelming, your situation, but figure it out. Start in one little corner and work on that, and then work on the other little corner. It's like washing yourself, I guess. If you're a real grubby, you jumped in the shower and just tried to spin in the shower and jump out again, you're not going to get clean. You have to start here and work your way down your arms and want to clean your hair and behind your ears and all the rest of that, carry on. You've got to, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. Now, when you have a shower, you've been used to this because you've been doing it for years. But if you don't have a tidy house or whatever, or a tidy life, then you're just used to it. And why would I change? Well, because you've never washed behind your ears before, and it's like, what the hell? Okay, quite dirty. And that's just an analogy, probably not the best one. So I encourage you to take action. Be patient. I recommend a few books. I've recommended them before. Lighter from Young Pueblo. I just ordered the book Clarity. I haven't read that one yet. The Four Agreements is really good. Where's that book? Here it is. This is one I've been working through at the moment. The Four, is that backwards? I can't tell. The Four Agreements, it might be. The author is Don Miguel Ruiz. Rui, I'm not sure you say he's Mexican or Spanish or something. But it's really good. And the Four Agreements, basically, I'm going to read them out to you. Be impeccable with your word. There you go, and your thoughts. Don't take anything personally. It might not have anything to do with you. It might not. Quite often it doesn't. If someone's treating us badly or whatever, it's usually shit that's going on with them, not with you. So just be really considerate and compassionate when someone's having a bad day and is a bit grumpy or whatever, or gets angry or snaps, and it's probably them, not you. And just be understanding and take the hit, roll with the punch, and just, are you okay? Anything I can do to help? And just be considerate and understanding. And they might have shit going on that you've got no idea about. Don't make assumptions. Don't assume. I'm a classic for making assumptions. I'll create these false narratives in my head. Something will happen and I'll try to make sense of it, and I'll assume that this is what is causing whatever, and 9 times out of 10 I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm right, but a lot of the time I'm wrong. Most of the time I'm wrong. I could be right about part of it, but not the other. So don't make assumptions. Don't assume stuff about yourself or about other people, about situations or scenarios that you really don't have anything to do with or have no idea about. Always do your best. There we go. If you're going to do a job, you might as well do the best job possible. Always do your best. And then you're giving situations, and then there's breaking old agreements and heaven on earth and prayers. It's a bit godly, this book. I do believe in a higher power. I believe in creation. I believe in a magic that exists out there, and also what the atheists believe in, evolution to a certain extent. But we are creators. You can create your own life. If a painter paints a painting and it comes out shit, he's got no one to blame but himself. He can't blame anyone else. Hey, this is your fault. My painting, you made me feel like this, and that's why my painting turned out shit. Actually, that's not the case. We all create our reality and who we are as people and the way that we live and the situation that we end up in. Adira does some really cool stuff. She thinks, what would future me do in this particular situation? And I'm really impressed by that woman. She's got her shit together. What would future you do if you had time to reflect? So that's a really good book. Another really good book I read was Wild at Heart. Here it is in the bookshelf. Let's drag it out. Nice. This is also a God book too. Someone sent me this one. Discovering the Secret of a Man's Soul. This is really, really good. Really good. It's an absolute cracker book. I'm going to read it again. So I can definitely recommend a few books. Those ones. Start with those, and some podcasts. I did put links to podcasts on here a few days ago. One Oprah Winfrey's Trusting Your Intuition, and another one, Abraham Hicks, which is a bit airy-fairy, but there's some good stuff in there as well. Spotify and Audible, great audio books. This is Me Letting You Go, which is one I've sent to several people. That's a really good one on Audible. This is Me Letting You Go, and it helps the person to let shit go that's happened in the past, bad decisions they've made, relationship failures. Let it go, let it go. It's happened. Learn a lesson from it. Take that weight off your shoulders. Anyway, I hope this has helped. Those of you who have reached out, and I'd reach out by all means. If you want to reach out to me. I think my purpose here in life is to help other people. So, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind it when I like it when people reach out and ask for advice, or just want to let rip or whatever. You guys are supporting me, so it's the least I can do. I think that's it. 26 minutes and 45 seconds in. Have a bloody good evening, a good week, and take action. Cheerio.